Business. Is the new website helping?
Not good. I can't figure out how to get the website finished. How did you do it?
Easy. I called Web.com. They built my website for free. Then they promoted it on all the search engines.
Like Google, Yahoo, and Bing?
Exactly. And Web.com has helped grow my business so much, I had to bring on new staff.
Hey, if Web.com did it for you, they're perfect for me.
Call now 1-800-535-8815. That's 1-800-535-8815. Again, 1-800-535-8815.
More than 700 quick lane tire and auto centers across this country, and she chooses mine.
I need tires, all season, and at a great price.
She wanted it all, but even she was surprised once I crunched the numbers. Soon her Taurus was ready to roll.
Say, you're good, Mr.
Murphy, ma'am, at your service, even on weekends.
With great prices on 13 name brand tires and no appointment necessary, Quick Lane is ready to serve. Visit quicklane.com.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner. Specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636. Bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bickavaris.
Thank you very much, Ken Johnson. I got to tell you from the outset, Ken, get you on the mic right here. It's such a pleasure every week when we do this show live and local that, it's almost like clockwork. We get things done with the organization. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Same here.
Always a pleasure. September 3rd, 2014. Well, the holidays are over for Labor Day, but still good beach weather out there. This is Sports Scene, an interview show every Wednesday, 12 to 1. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Don't forget sports highlights on nnpstv.com, powered by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com and Rachel Davis Hair Studio. Great show this month coming on from the Winston-Salem Open. You don't want to miss it. For more, go to nnpstv.com. Watch it right there on the homepage. This is your home for CBS News. Always a lot of news going on. This is a news talk station. Tell your friends about 1650. Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight without the S, at GJBTV and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival coming up next month, October 23rd to 25th, the fall edition, an indoor event. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. The commercial has already started playing. Thank you to our sponsors on GJBTV.com and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com as well for making this show all possible. Guest lineup presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Sponsors this month in September is the Old Town Tavern, India Palace, Newport News Greek Festival, Fink's Car Care, and Battlefield Guns and Ammo. For more, like I said, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, GJBTV.com. We'll have the highlights coming up a little bit later. What teased me off, a lot of great guests, a lot of good topics to talk about in news, sports, and so much. We evolve in the show each and every week right here on Sports Scene. For more of my background, go to GJBTV.com. College football, NFL, high school football, it's all right here. But we talk about the topics you want to talk about. Stay tuned. Tell your friends. Lock it in. 1650 a.m. Ken, we'll be back after these messages. from May 29th to June 1st as St. Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, Greek dancing, entertainment, arts and crafts, vendors, and much more. The Newport News Greek Festival is located on 60 Traverse Road, off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more information, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See, the tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Traverse Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of St. Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your homestead and your business and quality of life can give you peace of mind, but there are some bad hombres out there. Keep it all safe with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. You can't take anything for granted, whether you're at the ranch or out on the trail. Call 757-410-7720. Log on to battlefield-guns.com and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their two locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
And welcome back to Sports Scene right here live and local each Wednesday 12 to 1 right here on News Talk 1650, your home for CBS News and Hampton Roads. For archive shows, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link. Everything is connected online these days. Well, the next guest goes back a long way in Hampton Roads, as well as his family in this area. In fact, he interviewed my father in 1982 when my dad ran for city council in Newport News, and how reporting has changed since then. Joel Rubin, welcome, my friend.
It's great to talk to you, and what a great memory. Your dad was a terrific guy, and he didn't win, did he?
No, you know what's funny, Joel? It was back then there was no award system, as you remember, and he lost by 37 votes in an at-large election.
That was a close one. I'm sure I covered the was there a recount? Or
Yes, I think you talked to him after the recount. Yes, you did.
Oh, wow.
And my mom was more the political hound,
Sure.
with the Teacher of the Year stuff. But my dad, grew up here, and he would have won if it was award system easily, for sure.
Yeah. Well, his son has done well and has kept the good Bicaveras name prominent in Hampton Roads.
Thank you, Joel. It's quite a compliment. Talk about your background, Joel. A lot of people don't realize that your family had some history in the bakery business too.
My grandfather started Warwick Bakery, Brenner's Bread, if people may remember it, on 28th Street in downtown Newport News, and they moved over to 31st Street or Warwick Boulevard, Warwick, and 31st across from the old Newport News High School. And so I spent, even though I grew up in Richmond, because that's where my mother, who is a Brenner, lived, I spent a lot of time in Newport News growing up, working in the bakery, delivering bread up and down Warwick Boulevard, Jefferson Avenue, Mercury Boulevard, Kickotan Road, the Officers Club at Fort Monroe, you name it. So I have deep roots on the peninsula. And then when I moved down here after college, my first job was at WNOR Radio, and we had a studio actually in what was then the F&M building. It's still there, 26th in Washington. And I was doing the news, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning in downtown Newport News there, I think on the third floor. And then when I went to work for WAVY, I covered the peninsula and lived over in Hampton, and then eventually moved over to the south side and been in Virginia Beach now for, I guess, most of the God, I've been here since next year will be 40 years in this market.
Wow. Talking to Joel Rubin right here. Used to work at WAVY for so many years. Greg Bicaveras, glad you're with us with Ken Johnson right here on News Talk 1650. That's a good point before we talk about some of these topics, Joel, is that myself, you, a lot of people that were in the broadcasting business, still on the air today, you see more now in online and media and sales and dealing with clients, and you see a lot more reporters getting tired of the grind. Several young ladies have left Wavy, as you well know. We don't need to document their names right now, but several broadcast talent have realized that it's really about media partnerships. It's about business, and sometimes covering the mundane, traffic or the police reports can grind on the family, especially nights and weekends.
It does. I enjoyed it when I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Wavy for 15 years, and by the time I left, I really felt like I was doing the things I like to do. I was covering politics, General Assembly. Back in '88, I got to cover a national political campaign because Pat Robertson was running for president. I was doing a feature series across the state called Joel Rubin's Virginia, so I did that for about 8 years, and that was fun. I was doing a weekend talk show, which then after I left Wavy, I started one over Channel 13 and did that for 17 years. So, by the time I left, I was doing the kind of content stuff that I generally liked to do, but there wasn't enough money in it, and so that's part of the issue as a reporter. You want to feel like you can advance yourself, so that's when I went into business in 1991 and started what is now Rubin Communications Group. So I think there is a lot of work, and in fact, there's more work than ever today. I see these reporters out covering stories, and not only are they having to do what we had to do, which was go cover the story and ask questions and conduct interviews, in some cases now they're carrying the camera themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're also having to upload or write a story for Facebook, they're tweeting, and so the social media has become more important, so they're having to report on multiple platforms. So it's really added to the burden. And then, of course, back when I started in news, we were doing a 6 and an 11. Of course, now all the stations are starting at 4 in the afternoon. That means you got to be back in a lot earlier. You got to appear on more newscasts, and it's a lot more content you have to furnish, as well as the online stuff. So it has become a much more onerous profession, being a television news reporter, and I take my hat off to them. It's not easy.
Yeah, it seems like to me, Joel, just looking at the outset, that they're more like sales, media, online, like you said, Facebook, Twitter, so much more into it, not to mention this hot weather, the cold weather they got to deal with, and try to present themselves and look professional, too, at the same time. It's not easy. You can almost see the wear and tear in the face, and they got these 4 in the morning newscasts. I'm wondering, more and more young people under 40 are getting most of their content now, online. Who would have thought like 30 years ago, wow, you had a story in the Virginia Pilot or the Daily Press, that's a big deal. Now you tell anybody under 30, they'll have no idea what you're even talking about.
I know, and that's a real shame because the newspapers still have the most beat reporters. They're the ones most focused on particular areas, whether it's a city or schools or business or government or military. And so, in the PR world where I work, we still very much focus on those newspaper and business reporters to try to interest them in stories on topics, issues, that kind of thing. And so it grieves me to see the newspapers diminished. I still think a lot of people are reading the news online and are still going to Pilot Online, the Daily Press online for their coverage, just like the Washington Post, New York Times. They just aren't buying the printed newspaper so much anymore, and so I think we can see the future.
Talking to Joel Rubin, we'll get some topics right here. Love to pick his brain. We'll talk to him again in the future. Joel, let's go over the topics real quick. The grotesque images we've seen on CNN and the national news of ISIS, it just is horrible. It's almost like it's hurting the travel business. It's hurting a lot of fronts. It's hurting the morale of the country. And then here Obama's overseas about something else, and this tragedy happens again.
Well, I think we thought the Taliban, Hamas, and Hezbollah and Al-Qaeda were the worst things on earth, and now we find there's something actually worse.
Yeah.
This ISIS, and what's really scary is that they have our weapons.
Yeah.
They confiscated them from the Iraqi troops, and so we're now fighting our own weapons. And, of course, they're so brutal. I just can't, I don't think anybody can conceive of this kind of brutality, these beheadings of innocent people, reporters, who are trying just to tell a story. And in some cases, I'm sure the stories they were telling were probably bringing some fairness and parity to some of the issues in the Middle East. So why they're doing this is just ridiculous. And, sadly, they, I guess, are attracting a certain crowd. Heck, they got Americans and Brits going over there to sign up with them. I mean, we all kind of shaking our heads what's going on in this world. And I feel for President Obama and our military. It's not easy to just go, carpet bomb Syria and Iraq and think you're going to get them. I mean, anybody who's obviously been involved in the military knows, you have to know where you're shooting at. The last thing we need is to be killing a lot of innocent civilians. I mean, look at the grief Israel took for what happened over in Gaza. So, I mean, this one is extremely, extremely troubling, and I'm not going to claim to know what the answer is, but boy, this is awful.
Talking to Joel Rubin, remember him from WAVY for so many years, also Channel 13 had a show there, and you go from there and you look at Russia, who had, the Olympics, and of course you see Putin saying one thing, and then of course all this issue with Ukraine, and then the missing airplane. It seems like there's a lot of drama right now, to say the least, in Europe and the Middle East.
Well, Putin represents the old Russia that figured it had been, after Gorbachev, that it had given away its status in the world, and here Putin comes along and he's making the Russian people feel good about themselves again. Unfortunately, he's doing it by expanding the borders and trying to retake what was formerly part of the Soviet Union. I mean, that's another major issue for the United States. I mean, I think, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to get into a wider war over Ukraine? Americans are tired of war. And the war is coming back to us. And again, I think it's really easy to criticize the president or the Secretary of State and all these things, but I haven't heard a really good solution to these things yet. That really, where we're looking at this, going, what's in America's best interests? It's very, very challenging.
Absolutely.
And, Barack Obama is not Ronald Reagan, or is not Franklin Roosevelt or Dwight Eisenhower. He is our president right now, but he's somewhat acting on the best intelligence he has to make decisions, and I don't think there's any good answers. Yeah,
you look at it too. The last few presidents, 24 years total. I mean, with Clinton 8 years and Bush 8 years, now Obama 8 years. You see sometimes a little fatigue, especially with 1 or 2 years left in office. You do see some fatigue in Obama, but he's got his hands full the next year or so. It's not going to be a cakewalk for him at all going in the sunset. And he's still a very young man as well.
Well, and you just talked about two issues.
Yeah.
We have what was happening in Ferguson, Missouri,
Sure.
which points out that we have a long way to go in race relations in this country. We've got thousands of children streaming across the border from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, and that's also a challenge. Plus, our ongoing deficits and trying to keep the economy going is challenging. We have our own challenges here in Hampton Roads, as the military downsizes at a time when war seems to be upsizing. So, and you've got, a Congress that's, for the most part, hostile to the president. The president is hostile to the Congress. So not a whole lot's getting done, and the public is starting to lose faith in these institutions.
Well, Joel, you're an image builder. You're all about the media. I got to ask you a couple questions. I highly respect your opinion. We had Casey Vick in the studio last week. Michael Vick's uncle came out and just, really honest, transparent, did a really good job. Bruce Smith had his issues, Allen Iverson, but now you look at Phil Hamilton, an elected official in jail. Here I was in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago. I turned on CNBC, and they're still talking about Titus that got in all types of trouble. Of course, he went to Regent, and probably the most prominent Regent graduate in McDonald is in all types of trouble with the courts in Virginia. Him and his wife. It's just been, he represented Virginia Beach for a long time as just Mr. Virginia Beach, and just this area is definitely taking a hit.
Well, and we're sitting here now. The jury is sitting in deliberations, trying to consider 91 pages of jury instructions that came from the judge, plus the evidence they heard over several weeks. and determining whether a crime was committed by one or both or neither of the two McDonald's. Obviously, this has been an embarrassment for them, somewhat for the state, because we're not used to this kind of scrutiny. You know, we've seen other states where politicians get in trouble, end up in jail in some cases. We've never had that here in Virginia. We've never had a governor have to resign from office, which could have happened here if the governor, McDonald, had accepted a plea before the charges were actually filed. So he decided to roll the dice and go to court, and now, you know, after having his personal life, his marriage laid out there for everybody to see, his wife's obvious mental issues displayed for everyone, how he was, you know, managing the government and trying to manage his family, and then whether he crossed the line in terms of accepting these gifts and how it impacted on public policy. So the judge instructions seem to indicate that he didn't have to actually accomplish anything for Johnny Williams. He just had to do what's been termed an official act. And there were a number of official acts that occurred, from the lunch held at the, in particular, the events that were held, the phone calls made, et cetera, to try to help Mr. Williams get his studies done. So, I mean, I'm sure the jury's probably looking at that going, well, that looks like an official act. Maybe he's guilty. So, you know, I think I always thought that all of this was going to come down to what the judge instructed them to do. And so he's put it in front of them. I think it's going to be hard for them not to convict him of something, but who knows?
Yeah, it's been a horrible blow to the state of Virginia. You're really exactly right. And you talk about some of the athletes that have made this area into a negative name. And really, we just need a good makeover. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen? They need some Rubin Communications PR, Joel. I tell you, it's really going bad. But let's cover some sports topics. I know you're a big sports fan. You were at the UVA game. And let me ask you this, too, as Old Dominion and Virginia, as well as Old Dominion's playing, fans left early on Saturday. Virginia, they're not drawing as well as Grow or Welsh did, and you know, toward the end it was tough for both those gentlemen, although they both won for the most part. It just seems like London, who went to Bethel High School and Tab here locally, has not caught on with the older UVA crowd, because they seat 60 in that range, and they're getting the 40s, and that was only week number 1.
Well, there's nothing like winning, and there's also nothing like losing.
Sure.
And you know, the last few years have been very dispiriting for the football program. There's been some really odd decisions made, and I think most of it revolves around the quarterback. I mean, we just can't seem to understand why the University of Virginia either can't attract a really quality quarterback, or coaches can't train a good quarterback. I mean, we've seen freshman quarterbacks win Heisman trophies. You know, in recent years. So it's not like it's just a youth issue, and it's not like we haven't had good quarterbacks in the past. It's just been really, really bad. And this past Saturday, I think all of us who were in the stands up there were thrilled to see how the defense was playing. I mean, it was as good as it gets against a high-powered offense from UCLA and a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. And then the offense comes in, and they're running the same plays that they ran last year, because the coaches seemed to have no confidence in Grayson Lambert, the starting quarterback. And then he demonstrated why they shouldn't have any confidence in him by throwing 2 interceptions that were run back for touchdowns. And then eventually got pulled, and they bring Matt Johns in, and all of a sudden Matt Johns throwing a 30-yard pass downfield, a longer pass than Lambert was either throwing or allowed to throw, and then threw a touchdown pass. Sure. And so we're sitting there going, well, wait a minute, why wasn't this guy starting? I mean, what's the evaluation process? We went through this with, you know, last year with David Watford, and Lambert sitting on the bench, and Watford had some good games, mostly bad games. And then the year before that with Philip Simmons, which was a disaster with he and Rocco, and Rocco left, and guess what? This coming Saturday, we're going to see Rocco again with Michael Strauss, 2 UVA transfer quarterbacks playing for the University of Richmond. And I'm sure they would love to put on a good show in Scott Stadium. And if they do, and our quarterbacks right now are not performing well. It's going to be ugly.
Yeah, they might ask London just to go ahead and leave with the Richmond bus after that.
Well, that's where he came from.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, he's from here. We got a CBS News update. Joel, if you can hold just for a minute, I want just to get you a couple more topics, and then we'll let you go.
Sure.
And Ken's got CBS News. We'll talk more with Joel Rubin right here. This is News Talk 1650, Sports Scene, every Wednesday live and local on the radio. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT, powered by GJBTV.com. Ken Johnson, take it away.
Coming up on CBS News in just about a minute from now, we've got some thunderstorms in the forecast. We'll see if they actually come to fruition or not. We know how the forecast has been lately, calling for thunderstorms, and then they don't happen. But anyway, calling for partly cloudy skies, scattered thunderstorms. We'll see if they happen. 89 degrees for the high. Some scattered thunderstorms tonight, 73 degrees. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow with isolated thunderstorms, a high of 85. Looking to the weekend. Afternoon thunderstorms on Friday, 87. Scattered thunderstorms on Saturday, 89. And scattered thunderstorms for Sunday with a high of 78 degrees. Not a lot going on in traffic other than a Coleman Bridge opening scheduled for 2:30 this afternoon. Road work going on with right lane closures along 264 East along the stretch between 664 in Chesapeake all the way through to Portsmouth, Norfolk, and into Virginia Beach at Rosemont Road. And we've got the downtown tunnel westbound overnight closures again tonight, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. The eastbound side will close this weekend, 8 p.m. Friday night through 5 a.m. Monday morning. Back to Sports Scene and Joel Rubin coming up in just a moment right after CBS News. It's 12:31.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan. He calls the violence horrific, but President Obama says Americans will not be intimidated by the execution videos from Islamic militants.
Our objective is clear, and that is to degrade and destroy ISIL so that it's no longer a threat not just to Iraq, but also to the region and to the United States.
Former CIA Deputy Director Michael Morrell says a number of things need to be done.
One prong of the strategy would be in Iraq, using the Iraqi military and the Kurds, backed by U.S. airstrikes. Second, we need to go after the leadership of ISIS. We need to take them off the battlefield. It will weaken the group. And then third, we need to find a solution to the problem in Syria, where they also control territory.
Morrell, a CBS News contributor, says the U.S. needs to pressure Iran and Russia to convince Syria's President Assad to step down in an effort to challenge ISIS. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road at Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
And back here on Sports Scene, live with Ken Johnson, Greg Bicaveras right here up until 1 o'clock. You're home for CBS News in Hampton Roads. Always a pleasure to work with Kenny. And you talk with Joel Rubin here. And Joel, it's almost like crisis in Virginia right now. I can see you doing that on one of your TV shows. The former governor's having his crisis and the Virginia football coach is having his crisis.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a lot of crisis going on.
Exactly.
It really is. I feel for Mike London, in particular, because it's obvious he's a wonderful person. The man was a policeman, almost got killed in the line of duty. He's a good father and a family man. He obviously does extremely well in the living rooms with these parents and kids. Right. For the most part, I think he's recruited great kids to the school. There hasn't been any scandals, with the players, which you do see in some other schools. And, I'm sitting there on Saturday going, who's calling these plays? We have an offensive coordinator who has 30 years in coaching. He was a head coach at Colorado State, 7 years in the NFL with the Chargers, and some other teams. He's experienced. Tom O'Brien is a assistant, former assistant at Virginia, head coach at NC State. You got experienced people. I mean, you scratch your head and you just go, what is the problem here? And like I said, it seems like they got a lot of the defensive problems fixed. Now we got to fix the offensive problems. We played one game. We were supposed to lose by 21 points, only lost by 8. I mean, I figured I'd be back in the car by the beginning of the third quarter.
Yeah.
But I was there to the bitter end.
Yeah, the thing is, I thought Virginia would have a chance. It's the first game, adrenaline's flowing. UCLA had to travel all the way across the country. It's the first game for them as well. So I figured if Virginia's ever going to get UCLA at home, that's the time to do it. But London's had his chances. He's had his recruits. He's had good assistants. But, Joel, when the donations stop, when the empty seats happen, when the advertising drops, it's pretty obvious. And, that's only week one. What's going to happen as time evolves, we'll wait and see. One thing I want to get your topic about, we're always talking about arenas in this area that we need, but the attendance of both the Tides and Admirals, they're competing with the Sandler Center, the Opera House, all these nice restaurants we have in the area. There's a lot for the entertainment dollar. Waterside wants to come back, but to me the biggest arena we've got in this area is the Virginia Beach oceanfront. That's what Meyer Obendorf swore by for so many decades, and of course the current mayor as well. That's the best arena we've got as far as attraction. It's free to the public, and it seems like everything else is just let's try this, let's try that, and we end up back in square one.
I'm sorry, I lost you for a second, but are you talking about the arena?
Well, I'm talking about the best arena we've got in Hampton Roads is the oceanfront. It's free. We don't have to worry about building or anything like that.
Well, we don't. Yeah, but it is free, but people are only there mostly, for maybe 5 months a year.
Sure,
so
sure. Yeah.
We do have to fill in the other 7 months. You're right. We haven't built a new arena around here, except the Conference Center, which is a beautiful place.
Sure, sure.
We haven't built anything larger than, the 8,000 or 9,000 seats that holds since the early 70s when we built Scope and Hampton Coliseum. So we are definitely underserved, at least as far as compared to most other markets in this country. Heck, Charlottesville's got one that's 14,000 plus, and the John Paul Jones Arena. So. Yes, we do have this proposal on the table for the arena, be privately financed, which would be one of the few in the country that would be financed that way. The city's burden, I guess, would be to donate the land and some infrastructure, which is modest, $50 million or so, and then there would be some tax revenue coming off the operation of the arena and from the hotel. So, I mean, if Virginia Beach is ever going to get, this region's ever going to get an arena, this is probably the best deal they're ever going to get. Now, we don't have a pro team yet. I don't know if that happens. Who knows? These leagues have not been expanding recently. Mm-hmm. There sometimes are relocations, but who knows? But
sure.
The pro forma for this arena, and I have to, just to be accurate and up front, I am doing some PR work on behalf of ESG, the company that's behind this. Mm-hmm. But, their numbers say that, and the studies that they've been looking at, that they can put on 135 to 150 events a year there without the 50 or whatever it is that would go for a team, for an NHL or NBA team. Mm-hmm. Now, it could happen. Who knows? But I think anybody who's looked at the sports landscape would have to say, you can't bet on an NBA or NHL team coming here or anywhere else. They are where they are, and we'll see if anybody actually moves around. I mean, when they were talking about the Sacramento Kings coming here, we were sort of competing with Seattle, which obviously is a much bigger market. In the end of the day, the NBA didn't want them to leave Sacramento.
Yeah. Joel, a final question for you, my friend. And appreciate your time, your talent, and your treasure like always. Always good to talk to you. Bobby Wilder has had great success at Old Dominion, took a big blow publicly, social media, radio, TV, print, when he went on the road last year to North Carolina, felt like his team was not in the ball game, asked the coach on live TV to shorten it, whatever. You would have never seen Paterno do that to Woody Hayes. I think one thing, he's going through growing pains himself, and now he's got to go against NC State. If there was ever a time Old Dominion is going to catch an ACC team, that's going to be the team to beat NC State. But I think Wilder's learning about the media that it's not going to always be friendly, because when you're beating a team, let's say like Howard, you're not quitting on them or vice versa.
Well, no, and obviously North Carolina last year was a very high-quality team.
Sure.
And it was toward the end of the year, and Old Dominion was beat up and got beat up even more during the game. I don't really blame him for trying to protect his players. I would think this week. I mean, NC State only beat Georgia Southern by 1 point last week, so perhaps Old Dominion will have will fare better against them, or we'll see what kind of team Old Dominion is. But you're right. I mean, we're seeing this year, and the first few years to come. Whether Old Dominion really can compete at this level, or they've really got to get some much bigger, faster, larger, athletes. This is not an easy game to be in at this level, and we'll have to see whether the fans would have been happy at the FCS level, winning and having a good time out in the parking lots, as opposed to possibly having a good time in the parking lots and losing.
Well, yeah, you're right.
So the jury's out.
Yeah, they were watching the game in the parking lots, but look at Jimmy Laycock, 35 years. He's gotten it right, but he's done it in piecemeal. And Joel, thanks for all that you do, my friend. You're on Facebook, you're on Twitter. You've had a great story career on Channel 13 and Channel 10, and your family as well. All the best, and stay cool this month of September, and we'll see you at one of the games.
Thanks, Greg.
Always a pleasure. Joel Rubin right there, Ken Johnson, always a pleasure. We're going to get to my highlights right after this.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace.
Fink's Car Care is your place for all of your automotive needs. They handle state inspections, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, transmission service, radiator repair. They have a wide variety of tires, and when it comes to your car, they do it all. Visit their 2 locations at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth and 2236 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573.
Now back to Greg Bickaveris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by DJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors Page.
And I want to thank Joel Rubin. This is Sports Scene. Greg Bickaveris. For more, go to GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors. Save the date each Wednesday from noon to 1 for Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650. Our business spotlight scenes are coming up. They're always fun. What teased me off? Sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Back to school, so folks, button up for that. And, of course, great guests like always. Thank you to our good friends at 5 Points Diner. All-you-can-eat breakfast, $5.99. French toast, waffles, pancakes, eggs, home fries, toast, yum. Omelets any style, weekdays, and of course on weekends, 855-0100 at 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk. And, of course, 855-0100 for 5 Points Diner in Norfolk as well. Don't forget Dean and Don's, fresh fruits and vegetables. It's all at the establishment people know and count on, Dean and Don's. Of course, find them on Facebook. Come by Monday through Saturday. Log on to deananddons.com. Call 930-2707 for Dean and Don's today. Everything is country and nothing is fancy at Dean and Don's right there in Newport News and the Peninsula in Hampton as well. All right, we're going to take a short break and come back right after this on Sports Scene. The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I see you move, I'm checking your smile, working your back like it's going out of style.
And Sports Scene rolls on for this very humid Wednesday. Still not fall yet. I was born in September. I know it's always very humid in this month, and it definitely is air-conditioned time still in Hampton Roads. Greg Bicaveras, glad you're with us. Up until 1 o'clock, this is Sports Scene at Greg Bick on Twitter, at HROnlineMall.com, at Sports Highlight, at GJB-TV, where you will see one of our great sponsors, Miss Heather Forrest. How are you, Heather, from Forrest Photography?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
Very good. Tell us about you and your dad's business right there on Shore Drive.
Well, he's been photographing now for about 42 years, and we specialize in a lot of family portraits as well as high school seniors and younger children. And right here, we're really trying to create, portraits you're going to have for years and years to come and kind of immortalize memories of you and your family.
And you can see our link right there on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Talk about your Facebook page and what type of services you've got going on this month.
Well, right now we are specializing in doing, we have a few promotions actually, doing family portraits as well as high school seniors. I know a lot of students have gone back to school this week, if not last week. So right now we're having a high school senior special. It's an hour indoors and outdoors, 2 to 3 outfit changes, and that's normally a $250 session. Right now it's $40. And then we also have a family special going on too, for a complimentary portrait session.
Very good. Talk about your address. You're so accessible right there for the locals there.
Yes, we are located on Shore Drive down by the Little Creek Naval Base. We're at 5473 Shore Drive right down on Virginia Beach.
And you have to drive really slow because it's easy to pass it, right, Heather?
Yes, you have to look out for the blue and white sign for us.
Very good. Give us your phone number there, and we mentioned the Facebook page too.
Our phone number here is 757-464-6800.
What do you think about all the different technology? How is that helping you and your dad with the photography business today compared to, let's say, 5 or 10 years ago?
Well, a lot of the photography, of course, is now digital, whereas before it was film. So a lot of, our target audience is on Facebook or, goes online to, on the web. So it really does help generate leads for us, and especially with the Facebook and the Instagram, that's very popular for high school seniors, too, that are on. So that's really been a big help as far as us marketing to them as well, too.
Of course, it's always good to have professional photography, and, of course, that you guys want to instill that as well. How about, like other things like framing? Can you have access to that?
Yes, with all of our portraits, we do have basically your largest one has a complimentary frame with it, but any additional ones we do frame, and, of course, we do guarantee it with that. So, of course, when you get a nice family portrait, you want to have something that's going to complement it just as nicely and, kind of go with the decor in your home as well, too. And
you have a wonderful staff there. Give us your phone number and your hours.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Your phone number and your hours.
Our phone number is 757-464-6800, and we are open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5, and then Saturdays and other evening and weekends. We are open by appointment.
And the website?
It's www.forestphoto.com.
Very good. Heather, good to talk to you. Have a good rest of the Wednesday, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Heather Forrest right there, one of our great sponsors right there on Shore Drive in Virginia Beach. Ken, everybody always needs a good picture. We're going to come back with our next guest right here on Sports Scene. Stay tuned. The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
Fink's Car Care is your place for all of your automotive needs. They handle state inspections, Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, transmission service, radiator repair. They have a wide variety of tires, and when it comes to your car, they do it all. Visit their 2 locations at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth and 2236 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
But first, let me take a selfie.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene with Ken Johnson, Greg Bicaveras. Glad you're with us right here up until 1 o'clock every Wednesday. Save the date. Also save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival, October 23rd to 25th. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org, an indoor event you don't want to miss. Go to hamptonroadsonlinemall.com to see Bishopsgate Design Decor, eras and areas found. A beautiful place showcasing furnishings, antiques, jewelry, firearms, artwork right there at 3259 Virginia Beach Boulevard. A pleasure to see the beautiful young lady, Kara, in the studio, one of the owners. How are you, Kara?
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Very good. Tell us about the store right there. What a wonderful store it is in a very highly visible area in Virginia Beach.
Thank you so much. My mom ran a school for 20 years, and I was a shrink, actually a forensic psychologist for 13. And when I resigned, she retired, and we decided to open a store that we would want to shop in. So, you know, we always had to go to New York or D.C. to find things. And when we were traveling, we would be like, why can't we find that in Virginia Beach? Mm-hmm. So we grabbed it all and we brought it to our store here. We're about 8 months old. Yeah. We're basically a furniture and gift store, but we also have beautiful jewelry. We have an art opening every month. In fact, tonight is one of them from 6 to 9 at the store. So we have a different artist that we feature. So it's just been a really fun endeavor and a really great place to work.
You mentioned your former profession. We all need a Dr. Phil in our lives every day. So people can go there at 3259 Virginia Beach Boulevard, enjoy the nice furniture, and talk to you as well about their problems, I guess.
I actually like to say that we are the Cheers of furniture stores because we do have a regular crowd. We serve tea and coffee and baked goods every day.
Right.
And so we have regulars that just come in and shoot the breeze, and wonderful things happen at the store. You know, you need a plumber, someone's got one.
Right. Yeah. Well, how does the whole online business help you and your mom and be transparent with the public? It seems like it's so visible now that you can go to a website, look at something, and have a lot of questions answered before you pick up the phone.
Right. We actually don't do a lot of e-commerce sales because most of our goods are one-of-a-kind pieces. So we have lots of antiques, and we also have 3 or 4 very unique furniture lines. So we like people to come to the store to see what we have, and we also go into homes and pick particular pieces that we think would work well. Mm-hmm.
Bishopsgate Design and Decor, beautiful logo right there. Like we said, furnishings, antiques, jewelry, firearms, artwork. How about the firearms?
Firearms, yeah. So we had a bunch of people coming in to consign estate items, and lots of them would have shotguns or rifles from their father, from their grandfather. So we went ahead and got an FFL, and it's been wonderful. We have men who come in to do transfers, and their wife decide that they want to, you know, sign up for a wedding registry at our store just because we have so much good stuff, so many jewelry and gifts.
And of course, the holidays are coming up, not
They
too
sure
far
are.
along.
We're stocking up.
Yeah, it's already September 3rd already. You know, a few months before Thanksgiving and Christmas. Don't wait, folks. Go by 3259 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Go by and see Kara. Talk about those store hours.
So we're closed Monday and Tuesday, and we're open the rest of the week.
And they're open today, folks.
We are open.
Today.
Till 9.
Till 9 o'clock. Wow, it's kind of late.
Well, we've got the art opening from 6 to 9, where there will be lots of hors d'oeuvres and lots of fun.
Absolutely, of course. So what a wonderful store. You have to go in there in person, like she said, to see it.
Yeah, come by and see us.
Yeah, talk about what's going to be in store for as we get deeper into the fall for the holiday season, because it's a great place to buy gifts as well.
Yeah, so we stocked up on lots of gifts: baby gifts, men's gifts, women's gifts, Judaica. We have a great selection of Judaica. We also have very intricate jewelry. If you have a husband that's hard to shop for, come by. I guarantee you we've got something for him. We've got wallets and colognes and hunting gear and antiques and military collectibles. So just stop by.
I'm sure my sister and her daughter would love to stop by. They shop everywhere in the world, so
yeah,
you know
some damage.
Exactly, of course. But you talk about how the evolution of storefronts and accessibility is. It's so nice to just go to a parking lot, go in without having to beat that mall traffic.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure you hear that from your guests all the time.
We do. We have regulars, and we're right there on Virginia Beach Boulevard across from Alpha Music. Plenty of parking, close to Rosemont Road. We have great hours and great items.
Again, folks, it's a wonderful place. The phone number is 962-0204. That's 962-0204. 3259 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Like she said, they're open today. Bishopsgate Design and Decor. You can see their link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. You can click it. It will take you right to it. Like she said, eras and areas found. Great artwork, jewelry, antiques, furnishings, and there's something for everyone.
There is. And if you're a bride
Yeah.
or you have a wedding coming up,
Which you do.
come and I do. Come and register with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you and your mom can help them with all that stuff.
We sure can.
It seems like girls going through a wedding, and I got to have all girls in my family, that they can find out more about each other in 5 minutes than sometimes their fiance can in 6 months or a year.
Oh, definitely. The fiance will have two things on the registry, and it's like a gun and a picture, and everything else the girl has chosen.
All right. What else do you want to tell us about your store? As far as what you can expect as far as the staff there, as far as the service and that type of thing.
Sure, friendly staff. My mom and I are always there. We actually have a puppy that comes every day.
Cool.
So some people.
I met him.
Yeah, Mr. Toulouse.
Yep.
Yeah, so some people come in for puppy therapy. But we really focus on customer service, and especially if you're decorating a new home and you have a color scheme that you want to stick with or a price range that you want to stick with, we're pretty good with getting to know the customer and what they want and, making their home a beautifully aesthetic place.
Well, thank you so much, young lady. I appreciate all the best to you and your future and, of course, your family. We'll talk to you again as it gets closer to the holidays. Ken, let's get ready for What Tees Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
And this will be fun, folks. Stay tuned for that. Don't forget, CP Shucker is your home for college and NFL football, seafood, pasta, steaks. They have a big block party September 13th down at Pacific Avenue. Go by and see Matt and Mark and the great staff also in Shore Drive in Virginia Beach. For more, go to their website as well. Also, our great friends at Ipo Mono Kitchen coming up in Newport News at Patrick Henry Mall. It's Save the Date, Ipo Mono Kitchen, a wonderful place. Executive Chef Silva Sennett, of course, a veteran of New York, celebrated Jean Georges restaurants. Of course, excellent food, modern Asian food to new heights of gourmet culinary bliss coming to the good people over at Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News as well. And don't forget Paragon movie theaters as well. Ken, what tees me off? Cars that put pressure on cars to make a right turn at a red light. Businesses that don't check expiration dates of products.
Oh, my goodness. We catch them when we go in there, but it doesn't seem like the owner is very well.
Public places that do not have restrooms stocked with soap and towels.
Oh, that is so grim. There are some places that are just atrocious.
People who hide behind their hair for whatever reason, Ken. People do. Sometimes you'll see Martha Stewart when she was coming out of her incarceration, kind of like putting the hair above her eye there. I think that's something for another story right there.
I was going to say, most of the guys don't wear their hair like that anymore, man.
Yeah. People who verbally talk as if they're texting or typing. Right? Perfect. Whatever.
LOL.
Equipment that sits idle, Ken, in broadcasting for 5 months and is checked moments before you do a rehearsal.
Well, that's been the case for decades.
And of course, I'm going to ask our guest this, Kara. You see a lot of, especially people in their 20s now, seems to be a trend where people are taking photos with phony clown frowns and gestures. I don't find that the little, the smirks. Where did that come from? I want to look at a girl as her natural beauty.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from, but my niece is a pro at it, and now they have this Flickr app where they can take random selfies and put them into a movie and send them to you. It's kind of cute.
The duck face, where did that come from?
Yeah. People that use holidays as an excuse, like see me after the holidays. Really, what are you doing on Tuesday? But anyway, once again, thank our good friends at Paragon Movie Theaters as well. Right there, we got a couple more minutes, Ken, here. A beautiful 12-screen luxury theater in Newport News as well. Visit ParagonTheaters.com to reserve your recliner now. Paragon City Center, there's no better place to see a movie. Also, 5 Points Diner, 855-0100. Eat in or take out at 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk. Oh, yes. CP Shuckers, of course, the home for the NFL as well. And, of course, a lot of good stuff going on. Again, I want to thank our great guest today, Joel Rubin, of course, Heather Forrest, and Kara from, of course, Bishopsgate Design and Decor. Go to HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com and find their link. Ken Johnson, thank you so much. And for all our great guests, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, it's 1 p.m. Stay tuned for Remnant Radio.